Okay, here's a sort of complimentary video to walk you through engagement that's a little bit different from the wheels and tires range equipment analogy provided in my other video. And that is, what does it logistically, mechanically, I guess, look like to go through the process of on-ramp and engagement and starting the process. And typically starts with a call to make introductions, to get a sense of your market and your vision, and just kind of talk through high level what the plans and goals and hopes are, and for me to provide you with some feedback. A fair number, a significant number of the folks that contact me, not quite on a daily basis, but certainly a weekly basis, have varying degrees of qualifications in terms of their background and experience, professional expertise and business acumen, and financial capability to navigate through the process. And so that initial call is really kind of I guess, a fair exchange of ideas and questions and evaluation. Just I don't have a lot of interest in just collecting fees because somebody's willing to pay for a budget or insights. I want to be involved in deals that actually get built. So call it a evaluation or a weed out process. I want to be helpful to folks in that way. So it can be insightful, and to many it's enlightening, and it's an early gut check, sort of, all right, I'm not really sure I'm ready for this or prepared or capable for whatever reason, not for a lack of brain power, but just where someone might be in life, in career, in time and availability that they have to commit to this, and not to mention the financial side of it, which is a whole other video that I'll put together on the 3 pots of money. So look for that one soon if you haven't seen it. All right, so once the evaluation and intros are done and you're ready to proceed, the contract document would get signed, and that kicks off a monthly fee, flat fee, regardless of the nature of the project. It covers my time at least, and it's $2,500 a month. That is then set to specific benchmarks, and those benchmarks or milestones, once achieved, would trigger a milestone payment of 20% of the total project cost, of total project fee for my range development services involvement. There's 2 options to the fee. One is a full turnkey, and depending on the size of the project, is easily $200,000 start to finish. That's typically for projects that are, 6-7 million and up. If it's much larger, if you get into $20 million, then that's going to be more complex, likely, with a number of moving parts and different uses on top of just kind of the typical range features. Planning now a 50,000+ square foot facility, so that's a different ballgame altogether, potentially. So the contract stipulates all of these milestones and benchmarks and the monthly payments, and there's 3 possible outcomes. One is project gets built, you're up and operational, everybody's satisfied their scope to get you there, and fees are paid. Second alternative is you get into this process and have a change of heart, you have a life decision, you are unable in some form or fashion to achieve what you need to achieve, or the timing is not right any longer, or whatever, for any reason or no reason at all, you terminate, you stop the process, you're not involved in a range for 36 months, then what you've paid to that point, that's it. And you got information and so on and so forth, and you didn't proceed. Understood. Third option is we get into the process and you change your mind and say, well, I can do everything you're talking about doing, Stuart. I'm going to risk it on my own. Thanks very much. Appreciate you, revealing all this valuable information, but I'm going to go alone, or I'm going to let my general contractor figure out all the range equipment and design features and do all the coordinating. And I've never had this happen, but there's a breakup clause in my contract that says if that's the route you choose, then half of the unpaid fee at the time of termination is going to be due if you're involved in a gun range for a period of 36 months from the date that we cease the efforts. And that's just a breakup fee. I mean, the scope is set up so that the fees are paid. The majority of the fee for range development services involvement is paid on the back end of the process, just because I can't load it on the front, because it's got to become a deal that's legit, materialized, funded. And until that point, again, the 2,500 covers my time, so that months later, again, if something happens, then certainly we all would be disappointed, but I'm not working for free. It's not a philanthropic effort. So those are the three potential outcomes of the contract and how the fees work. And so when explained, generally I don't have an issue. There doesn't seem to ever be an issue with how it works mechanically. So this slide's a little bit more clear maybe than the wheels and tires analogy view of the process, but it still doesn't really change the fact that there will be, in moments along the way, days and weeks potentially, where we're working on one specific task, completing, for example, the questionnaire at the outset upon engagement. That starts immediately, and running demographic reports. And then once we have those, we work towards the budget and nailing down the vision with that budget, building square footage and all the uses and so forth. And at the same time, evaluating from afar, not directly, not talking to brokers or property owners, but just kind of remotely getting a sense of real estate costs and an understanding of the real estate market, and also doing a pre-flight evaluation of zoning related issues. That helps set the stage for the schedule to execute, with the exception of then the financing piece of it. And the financing is multifaceted in that you've got three pots of money: pursuit money, equity, and then the debt. All of those conversations with investors and lenders is predicated on having a solid adopted draft of the budget. That budget document will mature and evolve and be refined as we go through this process. But you can see just from the graphic here, because it's hard to do a fair representation in detail of what the process looks like. Generally, the discovery phase supports and feeds into the finance and design phase, which also is influenced by the needs from an operational perspective. And all of that, of course, then leads to contracts with shooting range equipment and making going to contract with a general contractor, and then, of course, ultimately leading to kickoff of construction. So I hope that's a helpful bit of information in terms of what the process looks like. And I look forward to any questions you have. Thanks again. Stuart Mullen, Range Development Services.